Alright, what's going on, guys? So I'm gonna do like a pretty interesting video series here. I'm gonna do like a little commentary on my maps. Not like a live commentary. Basically kinda like a commentary about like the mapping process of certain maps that I feel like that deserves it. And what inspired me to make this video was what is it? So in Duke Nukem 3D World Tour, there's like a little developer commentary, and I really did enjoy how they kind of talked a lot of the development process of the level designs. I mean, of like various levels, and it's always like mostly about like the level design type of stuff. And yeah, I just thought maybe I could do the same for just some of my maps, not all of them, because I feel like some of them aren't really that interesting to talk about. But yeah, so let's get it started. So this map is Baron's Keep. This is actually my very first original player blocking volume map. So what that means is it's actually my first map where I use all like the player blocking volumes and hell props back in, I believe, update free update 2 or free update 3, I don't remember. The one where we got all the hell modules and the excuse me, hell props. So yeah. And obviously I've changed a lot of stuff, like see I updated the textures. But this map was made back in those days, before we had textures on the player blocking volumes. And what else? Um try to remember something, because I'm doing this all like on the top of my head. I'll try to see like what I can do in future videos just to kind of like improve the video quality and commentary quality and all that stuff. But yeah, so about this map. It is my first original player blocking volume map. My second map that I actually made with, like the player blocking volumes and props. My very first one was the Icon of Sin 2016 remake. But yeah, this map, it is my first one, and I've definitely gotten better from like a visual standpoint. And just to give you like some ideas of it's my first map, look at this. All like my items, they're not even like static. Because back then I didn't really know anything about like the whole static thing. I didn't know like it actually saved network. So yeah, that's obviously like a sign of me still trying to like get the hang of this whole custom mapping thing back in the days. And obviously, I've gotten so much more like, better from a visual standpoint. I got a lot more complex. This is only one grid module, because I have maps where I have like 4 or 8 grid modules, and they all have like custom mapping content, all of that stuff. So I've definitely gotten more advanced after this map. But this map, it didn't really get the best reviews. I don't even remember like the likes and dislikes ratio, but it's definitely not the best review. But personally, I think this is one of my best maps, and it's just like um a blueprint of what you expect from me. I do consider myself to be like one of those mappers that do kind of like push your skill levels. Like a lot of my maps, they're definitely not a walk in the park. They're definitely challenging. Some of them might be more challenging or harder than others. And this map is definitely one of my hardest maps that you can possibly beat. And like I said, it's such a blueprint of a lot of like my single player maps. Um I always try to not like give players that stinginess of ammo, because I've never been a fan of that. So I personally think like the ammo is pretty good on this map. I actually had to like increase the rockets a little bit, because eventually the rockets got nerfed with the ammo count. It used to be 25, but now it's 15. So I definitely had to like increase the ammo for that for sure. What else? So here's another thing that kind of like separates me from a lot of different mappers. I like to increase the damage on my enemies. And generally in my single player maps, or like my campaign maps or whatever, you know, these kinds of maps that I make, I always like to increase the damage up to 250%. So why 250% and not 100%? When I first started using SnapMap, I just thought 100% damage was a joke. Like, you could literally like play like the most sleaziest way and just get away with a lot of, you know, dying possibilities, and I just felt like it didn't make the fights as interesting. And not only that, I wanted my maps to be like co-op compatible, and I felt like 100% damage just wouldn't be co-op friendly enough. So eventually, I decided to, crank it up to 250%. And 250% just felt perfect for me. You definitely have to like be on your toes, and I guess it's something that makes you actually, want to try, and you have to really like, try to be smart with your decision making, your ammo management, strategy, and obviously you got to make sure your shots are on too. So yeah, that's definitely like kind of like the core design that I like to adapt to my other future single player maps or campaign maps. What else to say? Oh yeah, I forgot. So I will admit, I'm really not like the best guy when it comes to like lining up the wall textures. I mean, look at this. Look how sloppy this looks. And I'll tell you why like some of these textures are not like actually updated with the same color. So yeah, you see, I was never really like that great at lining them up. I've gotten better, but I still wouldn't say like I'm that great at it. See, however, thanks to this little human haze effect, you don't even notice it. Like, watch, you can just play it, you can't even see a freaking thing. And what else? Yeah, like that's the great thing about like this human haze, humid haze effect. Because back before like the textures got updated, I actually had it on default, but I felt like the colors of like the older player blocking volumes, they actually looked kind of like more darker and more sinister. But personally, I felt like the new ones they didn't look at that, so I had to kind of like change the color. I mean the filter effect, and I feel like it definitely looks better with like the new textures and stuff. So yeah, think this is like a really good like idea. Like some of these filters, like they can totally like make up for your lack of texture alignment or all that stuff. What else can I say? So this map, I used to like make a lot of my maps have one life, and even back in like the co-op days, I didn't allow you to revive. But then I kind of eventually realized how annoying that was. And not only that, I wanted to like make my maps um friendly when you're playing with randoms, and that's another problem. Like you'll never know, you get some kid who can't like save I mean, who can't shoot to save his life, or just doesn't even know how to play the game properly, and that's just so frustrating. So I had to like add revives. But about One Life, this map, I feel like this map is best played at One Life. It's a very trial and error map. So basically, there are I think 5 gore nests, and you need to know which one you need to pick on. But it's a very fair map. There's no like cheap traps or anything like that. It's just all about trial and error. And once you really know what to do, you could definitely beat this map without dying. Definitely. What else? Oh yeah, so yeah, for future maps, I mean, back then, I used to like make a lot of my maps or all of my maps with one life, but I kind of realized, a lot of people didn't really enjoy playing that way. I guess like a lot of SnapMap players, they're not as like hardcore as I think they are. Because I always feel like One Life basically kind of encourages you to play better, and not only that, it adds replay value because when you um lose progress, you can go ahead and play it again and try to get better at the game. But it seems like a lot of people aren't into that type of stuff. So a lot of my future maps, I pretty much added more lives, or what is it? I completely abandoned the life system and make up using the checkpoints. But at the same time, I try to like create a sense of thrill. Like even if my maps have more checkpoints, I may have like a checkpoint system. Don't expect that map to be easy. I'm still gonna find some ways to like make you want to rip your hair out at the same time, or make you guaranteed to die a lot because that's always something I feel like I have to have. I just feel like we have a lot of good mappers. I really do enjoy like Void Runner's maps, Doomer's maps, Pig Dog's map. Like I really enjoy a lot of like people's maps, and I just feel like a lot of them have a lot of accessibility, and I feel like I need to kind of like branch out from that. So I try to branch out by making my maps more challenging and much more intense, kind of more like an expert level first person shooter type of experience, I guess. But at the same time, I do have that sense of accessibility with the co-op stuff. Like I'm starting to integrate more co-op options in my older maps, just in case like you feel like single player is just too much for you. You can always just hop on and play with your friends. And this level is so much easier in co-op. Having like two Gauss cannons or two rocket launchers, it makes the Baron boss fight like so much easier. And about this Baron, it's very rare for me to like actually put bosses in my maps. I think this is like the only map where I actually have like a boss. I generally don't like use much boss fights in my maps. Just like a lot of like tough fights. Oh, sorry, excuse me. So, what else can I say? Let me just try to think what I can say. Oh, so I always liked this little secret right here. Just thought it's a very like sneaky secret. And oh, I almost forgot this level. So yeah, why is this level like such a blueprint of my map design? Well, one thing you'll know is that there's a lot of exploration in this level, and there's kind of like that certain multiple choices you have. I mean, yeah, there is like a sense of trial and error to it, but I do allow you to like play it in quite a bit of different ways as long as you know what you're doing and you know the logics and the triggers and stuff. You can definitely have a lot of replay value on this map. And there is no like lockdowns or anything like that. Alright, anything else I want to say? I think at this time, like, do you notice my demon percentage? It's very high. I think at this time I didn't really know much about like the spawners. So yeah. I mean I knew about like the custom enemy spawners, but I didn't know much about like the single enemy spawners. So yeah, that's like another thing where I was still trying to like um learn as a mapper and trying to learn how to use SnapMap optimally. But when I look back at this map, I think it is one of my best maps. It is like, definitely a map that kind of like shows you my early beginnings as a custom geo mapper. But it does so many things right that I'm really proud of. I really love the flow of it. The gameplay is really nice. I think the map itself still looks pretty good. Like for a map that's basically my very first custom geo map, it's pretty impressive. And I also love the atmosphere and stuff. Um, I think that's maybe all I gotta say for this map. What else can I say? Yeah, I think I'm gonna just end it right there. I think that's really all I gotta say for this map. So if you watched the entire thing, thank you for watching for the entire thing. And stay tuned for more. I'll try to like, pump these kinds of videos out on like a pretty more frequent basis because after making this video I'm kind of having fun. It's just kind of fun going back to these old maps and just try to like remember my thought process, just talk about a lot of like the design stuff of these maps. So thank you for watching everyone, and stay tuned for more.